Hi, what's up? On our play for this week, will Starfield really be a 130-hour romp through the universe? Could we see God of War Ragnarok DLC this year? Hmm. Will Dragon Age Dreadwolf and the next Mass Effect game be in trouble after the latest news coming out of Bioware? We have our biggest highlights from opening night live in Gamescom 2023, and we have a review roundup for Armor Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Should you jump into the pilot seat or should you stay away? All this and more on season 7, episode 33 of Press X to Start Gamers Digest. Look like I froze, but I didn't freeze. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka getting them cheeks clapping Armor Core 6, and it feels quite all right. Love it. I am joined by
Sean MF Ross.
What does the MF stand for?
I'm a little bit tipsy right now.
Are you tipsy on life?
No, I just came from the barbershop and they were drinking in there.
Hey, you know what?
Are they allowed to sell alcohol unlike the alcohol they put on your head?
I never said they were selling it.
Oh.
We just drink.
I will say, well, was the barber drinking or was it just you or the?
Oh no, I mean at the end he drank after.
Oh, okay.
I go to a little, good spot.
Yeah,
You know, it's crazy. Okay. The economy has changed so much. The sock man don't come through there no more. The DVD lady don't come through. Yeah, man. Like, dang. I think the oil man still come through, but
yeah, I had oil.
You know, the fire stick done kill the DVD lady's job. You know,
that's true. Yeah,
crazy.
Back when I was going to the barber, yeah, we had like, who else is here?
It's your boy Jordan, aka the first Starfield player on this podcast, and potentially the only Starfield player on this podcast, based on what I'm hearing.
I'm gonna play that motherfucker at 11:59 just to spite you. Oh, I'm gonna switch my shit to Australia just to beat you, just to play it first.
I'm gonna try my best to play that game on my computer. Hopefully, it sticks with me. Well, Jordan, you're real blurry. What happened? There you go. Oh, when you look down, your camera considers you your background. So that's that. All right. Now I know who we are. Press It to Start Gamers Digest is a video podcast that condenses the most important gaming news into this from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube every Sunday at 5 p.m. as we've always been. Yes, 5 p.m. Hello, YouTube. Don't forget, you can support us by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and the notification bell. If you want, we would greatly appreciate you leaving us a review if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or podcast services you're currently tuned in on. If you want ×2, you can join in our conversations by going to our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. I did all that without looking at the notes. Craziness. All right. Okay, now that that's all done, let us get into the gaming news. Number 1. This comes from Kotaku by way of Ashley Bardon. It could take 130 hours to really start Starfield, Bethesda exec says. So this is a little bit of a clickbait article. Or clickbait title. I will say. So at a Bethesda mainstream event during Gamescom 2023, Pete Hines said he felt like the action role-playing game didn't really get going until he took 50 hours to finish the main quest. That was after he already dropped 80 hours into side quests. So this is a quote from him. 80 hours in, I went from doing one game to a completely different game where I started really focusing in on the main quest. And then I got so caught up in the main quest that I spent the next 50 hours just doing that. I'm here to tell you that this game really doesn't even get going until you finish the main quest.
What does get going even mean in this context?
So the way that I look at that quote is there's a lot of side stuff you can do. And then I think it's possible that the main quest of Starfield will get you in a good place in terms of you have a ship that can do a lot of things. You have crewmates, you have progressed your skill tree, you've leveled up. It kind of allows you to better explore the world, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah,
I'm
no,
thinking, go
Oh,
ahead.
you go. No, you go. Let me cut you off.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I'm thinking in the context of my time in No Man's Sky, where it's just like you do all this stuff in the story missions, and that, like, by way of XP and all that stuff, like, makes you a better explorer to do more things in the universe. So it kind of feels like that would be my guess, because like it's the same in like um Skyrim. Like you play a story quest and you're getting your different abilities and stuff, and then by the time you're done and you go out in the open world, you have all this stuff to play with. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I feel. How about you, Jordan? What's your take on this?
No, this shit tracks for me personally. I'm gonna be fairly naked,
Oh,
and
yeah.
scared on a planet by myself, farming things, hunting animals, just to be a complete hermit for a good 50 hours, and then accumulate as much wealth as I can. Then I do plan on becoming a Jeff Bezos type personality and go into procurement and move some product. And then maybe at hour 200, I go into space piracy. And then when I see that primary quest icon go to gray, to which I can just come in and kill everything in one hit, that's when I throw it back and do the final quest, which I would by that time be at hour 300 with this game. No, in all fairness, this shit's just marketing.
Yeah.
This is marketing, and I mean, like a 50-hour RPG is par for course. Like he literally just said, 50 hours in a main game, and I see myself kind of just being that person where I just finish the main quest, unless there's something truly captivating about like this extra stuff. But yeah, like it's 50 hours straight.
I'm looking at the comments and people are saying like if the game doesn't really get going until 50 hours once the main quest is done, shouldn't the main quest be better? You know,
So
saying, they're saying it sounds like it has impressive longevity when really it's trying to say like a huge chunk of the game is gonna be a waste of time. And
so here's my take on that. I feel like, because looking at my game clock in Tears of the Kingdom, it's probably like 180 hours or so. And for me, a good chunk of that is actually playing the game and doing the different things. But there's a portion of that that is like me in my menus looking at stuff, like fusing stuff, like building stuff. And it's just like those hours goes into the experience as well. So like it could be a thing if Pete Hines look at his clock and he's like, oh yeah, I'm at 80 hours in side quests, but like I've built these cool things and I have all this stuff to like play with. And then he goes and do the story quest and he's like, oh, this is all
Yeah, I
great.
mean, like there's certain games where people are like might not be interested in the space piracy, and there's some people that are interested in space piracy, to which they're just gonna go around dicking, like in different solar systems and killing people and hunting people down. But for some people, they don't give a fuck about that, and some people, like mostly like me, are just gonna end up paying the 50-hour main quest, and I might have like a farm or something, or go into full Star Trek mode and just cruise around, I guess.
My ultimate point in bringing that up is that may be off-putting to the general consumer, hearing that they have to put in 50 hours before it gets interesting. That's kind of like a TV show or anime. It doesn't get good, good until like the second or third season.
Right.
Why would I want to? I have limited time to play.
Yeah.
As a youngster, this sounds amazing to have this one game and have 500 plus hours of whatever to do, stuff in. But older people who have limited time in the game, they may not touch this.
Like I think there was another article similar to this where they said that you know once the game ends is when it truly begins. That type of comment too. So yeah, like that kind of goes to that same track of like maybe once you finally have all those, and like those weird ass Jedi powers that we saw in the like there might be some other thing that has yet to be explained, what happens at the end of this game that we do not know of, because a lot of us, I think, are still thinking of like, oh, this is like the abyss, or as I said, space procurement, farming, mining, space piracy. There might be something else there that happens that allows for this open-ended game.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think, I mean, I also think that like however the game ends, it's going to be a situation where the story ends, but it's like, okay, well, your campaign is done. Now go in the open world and do what you want to do what you want. Because I feel like that's the game that is kind of being marketed, and it's like kind of how it's being built, and that's also a typical Bethesda thing to do with their games. So I think there is a way of looking at it in that, like, man, it takes 50 hours to get in, and then it's just like, it's, I don't know, man. But like looking at Baldur's Gate 3, where that game was the first thing that we heard about it was like there's 156 hours of cutscenes in that game, and it's just like that's insane amount of hours to play one game or whatever. But then it's just like, well, there's all the different like permeabilities of events that can happen to lead to different cutscenes, so you're not really seeing all those things, and it's just like we also have to account that Phil Spencer, that Pete Hines is giving us developer hours versus actual hours, and oftentimes those developer hours usually are a bit more bloated than what it actually is. So it's one of those things where it's like I'm as Jordan says, like this is sort of just marketing speech to like get people looking at that. And I'm pretty sure it's very possible they said something like this just to deflate the whole conversation of like, man, Baldur's Gate is going to be a better RPG than Starfield. And it's like, no, ours is going to be a big, RPG too, guys. So just don't worry. So yeah, we will see what happens with that very soon.
There's
right,
no
Jordan?
we in this. There's no we in this. There's an I in this. Y'all ain't trying to buy no Xbox Series X's
most definitely not, sir.
Yeah, like no, you ain't trying to, get in, like, oh, Xbox has no games, and look at you now. Xbox has a game, and like, oh, now I'm curious.
A game, mind you, they never
Xbox will soon have games, and when that happens, then we can finally talk about their games.
I got my shit immediately, and y'all are like, where are they at? I don't know. Find a truck.
Actually, I'm gonna switch the run order real quick. Since I just talked about Baldur's Gate 3, I'll make this number 2. Baldur's Gate 3 is coming to Xbox this year. This comes from the Verge, but it's really just a Twitter post from the one of the devs from Larian Studio. So the Twitter post reads, all the improvements will be there with split screen co-op on Xbox Series X. Xbox Series S will not feature split screen co-op, but will also include cross-save progression between Steam and Xbox Series. So backstory of this is that during Gamescom, the dev basically said that, they've had a great meeting with Phil Spencer, and essentially Phil just allowed them to release Baldur's Gate 3 on Series X without all the features that's going to be on Series X. And that's been a rule that Xbox has put with all their games. So, and it's like, that makes sense. Like with all of the fanfare of Baldur's Gate 3 and the whole article posting of like, oh, Baldur's Gate 3 will be PlayStation's answer to Starfield. And it's just like, well, it is coming to Xbox. It's just not coming to Xbox right now. So Xbox kind of just deads all that.
It's a PlayStation exclusive. I swear to God.
Right. So yeah, it's just, Phil is doing what he should be doing, which is like making sure there are absolutely no hurdles, no barriers for Xbox doing the best it can. And I think this is a good move, even though they are breaking their rule with Xbox Series X and S players or whatever. But
I mean, Donald, you embellished the story somewhat. I mean, Phil Spencer used the same black van that he used to kidnap Hideo Kojima. He just pulled up to him in the parking lot, threw him in there, and they had a long conversation up and down the Autobahn. Just saying.
All right, number 3. Microsoft signs 15-year cloud streaming deal with Ubisoft in latest bid to win Activision Blizzard approval. This comes from VentureBeat by way of Dan Takahashi. No, Dean Takahashi, my bad. I did not highlight this. I think it's here. Yes, it's here. So essentially with all this, the UK is the last country where antitrust clearance is needed for the deal to go through. The deal as in the Activision Blizzard deal. One of its concerns was whether Microsoft would have a monopoly on cloud streaming technology. So this is a quote. This includes This includes executing an agreement effective at the closing of our merger that transfers the cloud streaming rights for all current and new Activision Blizzard PC and console games released over the next 15 years to Ubisoft Entertainment. The rights will be in perpetuity. This is from Smith. Who is this person? Brad Smith, who is president of Microsoft.
Yeah.
What?
He's the
He's
one.
president
Yeah.
of Microsoft?
Well, like he's one of their executives. He's like
Oh,
president of like their business side or whatever. But he's like
okay.
he's the one that clears the checks right now.
There we go. Okay, that
But
works.
like Satya Nadella is CEO, but Brad Smith is like one of the
Yeah.
administrative.
Okay. Because that's who I was thinking. I was like, wait, Brad Smith. Anyways, more from Mr. Smith himself. As a result of the agreement with Ubisoft, Microsoft believes its proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard presents a substantially different transaction under UK law than the transaction Microsoft submitted for the CMA consideration in 2022. As such, Microsoft today has notified the restructured transaction to the CMA and anticipates the CMA review process can be completed before the 90-day Jesus, I hate this kind of speech. So basically, they submitted the new transaction, the change in their deal, and they're hoping that CMA looks at it and says yes to it within the 90 days extension that they have set up from the last time they tried this. So cool. We'll see what happens. I think it is going to be, I want to say it would be interesting to see how that would work, but like we've actually had something like this really far in the past. Like I think it was Square Enix was publishing Capcom games or something like that, or no, not Capcom. Yeah, anyways, we've had something like this in the past, so this isn't necessarily new. And I think if this goes through, the only craziness is going to happen is like we're going to see like, oh, this is a Call of Duty and it's published by Ubisoft, and it's like, oh, that's crazy, but it's not. It's not gonna matter. It's not gonna make a difference. Anyways, that's that. Yeah, got any feelings on this?
Well, I mean, if this doesn't do it, I don't know what will. This does focus directly with the CMA's main hangup, which is the novel cloud service arena. Not so much subscription services, but cloud as a platform within itself. And Microsoft does have a good amount of market share in the cloud space. No matter how large, no matter how small the cloud space is compared to the like PC gaming and consoles itself. Yeah, I mean, this, like I think it also illustrates Microsoft's like disinterest in a way for the Activision side of things. Like they just really want to get King. Like this is mainly King, though the shareholders want to make sure it comes in as a whole and not lose any type of value based on the $70 billion price that they put on originally. But they're just trying to get anything as possible, anything that can be done, that needs to be done to get King under Microsoft so they can make more money in mobile space, because CMA did not have any issues with the PS5 Xbox console space. They're like, that's not a problem with this.
Yeah.
Sony already signed a 10-year agreement. So yeah, this is like the last thing to get this through, which people believe is going to happen at the end of September, like well before the October 18th.
Okay. Yeah, I completely forgot about the whole King of all of this and like how that
no one's
like
talking about
really
King.
the big money maker.
No one's talking about King.
Exactly, that's true. Sean, you got anything?
I just wish this deal would be over with. This is taking forever.
Yeah, it really is. Speaking of Call of Duty, for those who don't know, Nicki Minaj is a skin that's dropped, and everyone is going crazy with how big her butt is, and it's like, yeah, that they made it.
I'm pretty sure she requested that.
I wouldn't be surprised. What'd you say, Sean?
I said a lot of people are bringing back teabagging with her skin. Literally turning around and teabagging. This is just craziness.
It's funny. All right. Actually, before we get into number 4, hey, I see you listening to our content. I'm watching you. Your camera is actually a reverse camera, and I can see what you're doing. I made that term reverse camera. Anyways, do us a solid. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Did you do it? Thank you. If you are listening and you can't watch us, look at you, watch us. Yes, right. Can you please leave us a review on our podcast or podcast services you're currently tuned in on? You're doing that right now? I'll wait. Cool, thanks. All right, now let's get back to the show. Number 4. This is a big old rumor from Push Square. God of War Ragnarok DLC expansion deep in development for PS5. This comes to us by Sammy Barker. So, essentially, as I said, there's a God of War DLC that's in development. The rumor comes from the snitch that says the development is about 60% complete and that it's planned on releasing next year. The snitch is a pretty known rumor generator person. Yeah. The only shaky part is that the actual snitch account on Twitter had actually exchanged hands. Yeah. So it makes the reliability a bit more shaky, but they actually released accurate details on the Rise of the Ronin game that we recently seen. So it seems like, okay, well, maybe they still have what it takes to be the leaker of leaks.
I don't see this happening. 60%, like considering how long it takes to develop stuff, 60%, and we're gonna see, 60%, then we're gonna see it next year. Not to mention that God of War, granted, there's always time for new precedent, but God of War has never done DLCs, to my knowledge.
True. So I think I'm of two minds of this because there is all the rumors and teases that the next God of War game is going to be in Egypt or deal with Egyptian gods. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if that's going to happen, there has to be something that allows us to finish off Atreus's like Atreus and Thor's daughter. Akabota? Not Akabota.
You're thinking of the other.
I'm thinking about Thor.
Yeah.
But like, because like even at the end of God of War, or God of War Ragnarok, like those threads are still left hanging. So it's like, if this next God of War game is going to have Kratos in Egypt, but also have Atreus and that like kind of group of people also doing stuff, it's like, that's kind of weird. So to me, it kind of feels like a DLC or some kind of expansion would make sense. The only thing I look at this is 60% done. It's planned to release next year. Right now, PlayStation only has, I think, Wolverine really to show for next year.
Mm-hmm. Probably don't forget about all of the amazing live service games that are coming out.
Yes, how could I forget? I shame on me forgetting about the wide slate of those things. But then we also have the Last of Us project that didn't happen. It's supposed to happen.
Factions.
Yeah. So I think we could. It's possible. But yeah, like 60% in the next year. I guess it depends on when next year is happening. So I don't know. But this is interesting because like I can kind of see this happening. And it would be a first. There's also the whole thing that I forgot the person that made God of War. He said that like he didn't want to do a third one because it's like another 5 years to produce a game. So he kind of wrapped up.
David Jaffe?
Yeah. No, not Jaffe. That's Twisted Metal.
Wait, no, he did God of War though.
Yeah, but it's not him. Anyways,
I understand what you're saying. But yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of threads happening here. I'm gonna look up his name real quick. Yeah, so there's a lot of threads here, and it's just kind of like this could happen.
To your point, DJ, not to run too far away from it. Yeah, like looking at Sony's 2024 to 2025 slate in terms of new IP, it is. I mean, new IP that we are interested in. I mean, we'll see how
Corey
live
Barlog.
service games.
Corey Barlog, that's who that is. Sorry.
We'll see how the live service games pan out, but like this is running opposite to what Xbox is doing. Xbox is trying to get as much IP out there as possible because we know that Fable's coming out, Perfect Dark's coming out, Contraband, but on Sony's side, outside of Wolverine and those live service games, there could be room for, at least at this moment, a DLC for God of War Ragnarok to come out and bridge those two games.
Yeah.
Because what the story of Kratos between Norse mythology and Greek mythology was told via comic book. So maybe they'll try and do it by a game this time around.
And you know what? They could definitely take the Insomniac route and make a like Miles Morales, but like Atreus Morales God of War thing, where it's like a smaller, where it's like a smaller like game, but is like using a lot of the assets from God of War Ragnarok, and it's like they don't really have to go through the R&D of like making those new assets. They can just use that stuff and just kind of expand off of that. So that could work. That could work. We'll see. We'll see. Number 5. Oh, this is a little special treat that Sean, you had a big pop for this, so you're gonna.
I had a what?
You had a big pop for this. I said what I said,
sir. So Sony finally revealed their, Sony Q PlayStation Q device, which actually turned out to be called the PlayStation Portal, and ultimately, Jordan is taking a piss, having a laugh, but this is a DualSense controller split in half. So they basically removed the touchpad portion and put an 8-inch screen, a 1080p, 60 FPS, 8-inch screen in the middle of it. That is touchscreen, and this is purely for remote play. So you got to be connected, at least as far as we know so far. You got to be connected to Wi-Fi. Your PlayStation has to be on. This is. Who is this for? We can't quite tell because apparently
Christopher Dring likes it.
Who?
Christopher Dring. He's a news reporter. Oh. He's like, I would love to play in the laundry room with my kids take over my office. I'm like, I have no kids.
I mean, I'll probably get it. I'll probably get it. I just want to tell y'all when I get it. But so here's the sucky thing about it. It's gonna launch. They didn't give us a specific date, but it's gonna launch for $200. There's no Bluetooth apparently, but as I pointed out to some people, it's just like the Nintendo Switch. They do have a audio jack for your wired headset. I'm thinking that just like the Switch, you more likely can plug in a USB adapter for Bluetooth, which a lot of people did, but it does suck that they excluded it. Maybe they didn't want to pay the Bluetooth licensing fee. I don't know, whatever. But they are going to have something called PlayStation Link, I believe it's called, and as they announced the PlayStation Portal, they also announced the Pulse Elite wireless headset. So this has a retractable boom mic as well as the Pulse Explorer wireless earbuds. I think those are both going to be around.
I think
so the headset's going to be $150. The headset's going to be $150. The earbuds are going to be $200, which is crazy. But they do make decent quality headsets. So
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sean. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, sorry. Are we still talking about the header or the
PlayStation Portal? I mean, sure, Jordan. What are your thoughts?
I mean, okay. To your point about the Switch existing, so does the Steam Deck, And
The Steam Deck probably has Bluetooth. I don't know. Maybe. Let me see.
yeah, it's just, you know, PlayStation. I respect them as a hardware company. Hardware is their bread and butter. Sony hardware is their bread and butter.
Yeah.
And they have released some of the greatest consoles of all time. But this isn't the first portable device that they've gone into. We've had the PSP, another PS. Like I'm seeing, like this is also PSP, but instead of portable, it's Portal. Good job, guys. Good job on the marketing. High fives all around. Champagne bottles. Good job. But it's just we see how the PlayStation VR has done. Like when you don't really commit into your peripheral, like I think the methodology is, as the PS5, which is a landing, this will draw interest and movement in terms of units for those adopters. But like looking from the outside looking in, even as a PlayStation owner, I'm like, is this a value added to my experience or just some accessory? Like is this critical for what I need to get done? And it just doesn't. It's not bridging that gap for me. I mean, they can make it. Had this another thing because like this costs money for them to make. Maybe they're fine with whatever amount of money or incurred loss that may occur at the beginning for it to finally start turning a profit. But like in the tech community, it's being dragged. It's being dragged. It's being dragged.
I mean, the PS5 was dragged as well when it was first revealed.
But like this specific, like I mean, like Marquise Brown didn't make a negative video about the PS5. He's making negative. Like people are making negative videos about this.
I agree.
Accessory.
And I say to that on two fronts. Everybody's allowed to have opinion, although I don't think everybody should have a platform. Please don't cancel us. Secondly, every product is not for everybody, and
that's true.
We have this weird thing now where because gaming is mainstream and everybody has a voice, everybody feels the need to chime in on every product, and there's this weird thing of FOMO, fear of missing out for everybody, where they feel like they need to have every product that's released, and everything is not targeted to the masses. This is a specific use product, just like when the first phone/controller holders, so you could play games on your phone, people would say, "What the hell is this for?" Or the backbone/Razer Kishi things. This is just a sturdier version of that, and it's not going to be for everybody.
I mean, like I think based on the quality PlayStation has put out so far, it's just I don't know. Like
it's a valid criticism.
I think people were just expecting more based on where we are right now. I mean, like we can draw comparisons on the Switch, but the Switch came out 5 years ago.
Yeah,
and it's just I would love to have a PlayStation Portable where I can take it to the cloud. Like that could have gone to interest, but maybe they do see like that market of individual that doesn't need that, but I don't see that market being large.
I think this was you got people wanting to do remote play, but they don't want to either hog up their phone, or we have other people eating our lunch in the space where I want to buy something Sony branded. I don't want to buy a backbone. I don't want to buy a Razer Kishi. I want an official thing that I can do whatever for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, granted, it sucks that it doesn't have Bluetooth. I really think
or cloud gaming,
that more than likely can be a software update. If it's, because it's streaming from your PlayStation. I don't see why they can't just switch the source from where the game is coming from. It's running Android. You know what I mean? A modified version of Android. I don't see why that can't be included in the update at a later date and time. They probably just don't want to promise anything like that because
I don't know if there has to be some kind of processing happening on the device itself to do cloud gaming versus streaming it.
We don't know.
Yeah,
but I mean, look at Stadia. There was no processing done on the consumer side, so
right.
Well, we won't know until we know.
Right.
The only sucky thing is it doesn't have Bluetooth, but anything
Yeah.
else, it's all software.
Yeah.
And we have no idea because we haven't laid any hands on the device ourselves. And everything that anybody did do a hands-on with is pre-release product. If it was done and it was ready and it was complete, it'd be out by now.
True.
When is the release date of it?
They haven't given us a date. They just said later this year. So more than likely around Thanksgiving, Christmas. I willing to bet.
Yeah.
Just shove it in a Target. Like, please buy this.
and
Buy
I
it.
get, and I guarantee, for as much people talking shit and dragging it, it's gonna be sold out.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, it'll be sold out, but and
Here-
initially, but so was a PSVR.
Hey,
Yeah.
like I said, everybody wants to buy shit for fear of missing out, regardless of if it get used or not. The actual true consumers who want to use it, it'll be
Are
sold
gonna
out.
buy
They
it.
probably won't. Yeah, they probably won't.
Yeah.
Either won't be able to get their hands on it, or everybody trying to make a hot take and make a video on it. Because I mean, if you're a YouTuber, even if you don't like the shit, how much money you make off a video? It's pennies. You can claim that in taxes. It's gonna
True,
sell,
but I think
regardless of.
so.
Mhm.
I am of the mind of like, I think when this first was announced, everyone kind of started building the idea of like what this thing is actually going to be, and then to see that this is the device that we're going to get, it deflated a lot of people because it's just like, all right, well, you don't even have the standard Bluetooth like feature in this thing, and it's like, all right, so that means that I can't use
People built
my
up their
current.
own. People built that up in their head, and they should have did that.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
But that part,
I mean,
yeah.
like,
But like,
there's expectations of the market. Like the market,
Exactly.
we expect more at this point.
yeah. And I think that for me, that's where it gets kind of weird because, like, oh, well, I can't even use my headphones to like use this thing. Like, I have to buy a new PlayStation branded headphone in order to use this thing because I have to go through PS Link, which it's like, I think I'm of two minds because I don't blame PlayStation for this device. I blame Sony because oftentimes Sony is the one that is pushing for these hardware accessories to have PlayStation like added into its ecosystem. And it's just like, it kind of sucks because I definitely think that PlayStation, looking at the PlayStation portal, wouldn't make these decisions. And it's just like, all right, well, the PS Link is created because, well, we're going to talk about in the next story, but it's also created to combine all the PlayStation accessories into this one like smaller ecosystem that works specifically for PlayStation. And it's like there's benefits to that, but there's also the negative of that, which is like I have to buy all these things now. I can't just use the stuff that I have, which sucks. And I
Yeah.
think that's for me, that's more of the sticking point than like, oh, this is just remote play. Cause it's like I'm of the mind that PlayStation services not great. So for them to be like, "Hey, we're gonna do this cloud streaming thing, guys. It's gonna be great." It's like I don't believe you. It's not gonna be great. Like it's just I have enough experience to know that it's gonna take you guys a couple of years before it becomes good. So them
I mean, they
doing the
were
remote
working
play.
with Microsoft using Azure at one point. I don't know where they're doing now.
That's another thing too. Like there was an agreement made, like there was a whole deal signed, but like nothing came of that. So like that's also a weird thing too.
We don't know if nothing came of it. We're on the consumer side.
Well, right now we know like there's, I mean, they could do a no. There is cloud streaming for the PlayStation Premium tier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they added that in, so that's where that went. But yeah, I was excited to get this. Now I'm more so waiting on the reviews to see exactly how it actually fares in the common hands. But
And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
PlayStation and is like they out of all the big three, like let's say PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox, they do have in terms of VR that they're the furthest ahead. But I think out of the three, well, I mean, even though the Switch is kind of like a handheld, but also a console within itself, it's kind of like in a weird membrane. They have like versions of it. They are clearly having a stronger stake in the portable gaming market, more so than Xbox. So, when it starts really catching on, PlayStation will be there and ready, with the correct, infrastructure in place to move it in the right direction. Maybe a future iteration of this device will meet these criticisms. But for now, it's you don't want to go in before being released with like this amount of negativity associated with it based on what they're telling. I mean, unless the 1080p is a lie, and unless the Bluetooth's a lie, then it's fine. But they told us what it is. People know what they are, and people are just confused.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it plays out. But
I'll even say that I think Xbox can just get around this whole mobile thing or handheld thing by just saying like, yeah, all right, well, xCloud, Game Pass, that stuff works for Steam Deck, works for Rogue Ally, works for
the PlayStation Portal
Lenovo's
too.
Legion thing, and PlayStation Portal
Can go.
and it worked for everything. It's just like there you
They
go,
want.
like that service. Now you can get it on any handheld you want, maybe including the Switch. It's just like there you go. Like they don't have to make a portable thing, but like I think like just to go along to what Sean is saying, that I think in terms of how this sells, I don't think we'll ever get the numbers for it because I think this will be a device for like the specific niche consumer who needs to who doesn't want to play their games, doesn't want to play their PlayStation games on their phone, and they want a dedicated device to do that. Because
Or
like
sometimes you might want to just lay in bed. Imagine you could play Gundam.
yeah, exactly. So like
Mhm.
I have a couple of use cases for this thing, and it's just like, yeah, it'd be great to be able to like not have to go downstairs and turn on my PS5 and just like have it in my hands. But it is a thing of like I would have to convince myself that $200 is worth that convenience.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I mean,
okay, well,
$200
no.
to play fucking Armored Core and the shitter, like you like do like the amount of intensity the game gets, like it's gonna get it out of you easily.
Right? That has to be the new marketing for the PlayStation Portal.
It's gonna get it out of you.
Don't worry
It's
about
Ring.
it. So what's the next thing that's happening with this?
So, Sony is buying Audis. They're acquiring
Did you say Audis?
high-end headphones maker Audi. So apparently, they'll still operate independently and still make products for multiple platforms, etc. But Sony will be benefiting, they'll be benefiting from being a part of the PlayStation ecosystem. Terms of the acquisition weren't disclosed. But this kind of plays into the previous story where they are releasing the PlayStation Pulse Explorer and Pulse Elite headset, because those new audio devices that I did not mention in the last story, they specifically have, and I'm gonna say this wrong, it's either planar or planar magnetic drivers the in the headsets. What does that mean for you and I?
Yeah, what does that mean?
They're less common than dynamic drivers, which are typically used in mainstream products, but many of them are used in like audiophile level, headphones.
Okay.
So high end. And in the comments somebody said, I wonder if Audis was involved in making the new headsets when they announced the planar magnetic drivers. Because if you take apart a speaker, it typically has like a little diaphragm that just vibrates and puts out sound. These actually have magnets and all types of techno wizardry.
I just remember, when Jim Ryan said, "Hey, after Bungie, we have many more acquisitions planned," and I tell you what, you gamers, you don't know what the fuck's coming up. You don't know what you're in for.
Everybody was thinking of studios.
They might have Bungie, and they might have Ninja Theory and possibly Activision Blizzard King, but goddamn, we have all these motherfuckers. We got all these. And that's what Jariah says, like in the middle of London. We got Piccadilly Square. Like, motherfucker, we have all these
Their
nuts.
next acquisition is gonna be Popeyes. Watch. Say that right here, right now.
I feel like that might be racist.
So the gamers wanted. I'm surprised they didn't end the showcase of this shit. Like, yo, and up next, Audi.
I don't think a lot of people know the Audi's brand. I was
No,
looking at a
yes.
headset, but
This is a traded
please.
brand
Yeah.
on the stock market. Just traded.
No. I mean the average game consumer.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know. Like when the story broke, and I was like,
I
what
mean,
is
like, but
Audis?
if it was like Bose or something, that would have been
Yeah.
like crazy. Like, oh, Bose.
Yeah.
But
Bose is an old person.
what are you trying to say, brother?
Dang,
You're right.
dang, Sean done called you out, Jordan.
Like, okay, like I'm looking at their flagship headphones right now. They're $4,500.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Sony money.
Excuse me?
To give the listeners an idea of like how much their stuff costs, their flagship headsets cost $4,500. What is this? This is 17
4500.
Yeah, 400 4500. I'm looking
Sony
at
just
another
letting y'all
headset,
know this
$3,000.
generation is not made for the broke boys. Don't be broke. Don't be broke and own a PlayStation.
They have a
Ain't no
gaming
way.
headset specifically for gamers, but it's $900.
Yeah, don't be broke.
Okay, yeah.
Don't be broke.
I'm gonna
Hey.
get that, and they get the
Oh my
PlayStation Portal.
Anyone can,
There you go.
Sean, I get it. I get the portal now. Hey, thank you. I need to not only get good, but stop being broke. Stop being complaining. You know what? I need to get my life together. I need to my budget right quick.
Jordan, what you don't realize is that the reason you're such a trash gamer is that you can barely hear what's happening in your games. That's why you need to spend $900 on these all these nuts headsets.
I'm broke, you know. Like I need to get that. I need to get that kit, you know. Bald nigga with a beard and a V-neck T-shirt kit. I need to get that and get my life together.
Speaking of being broke people who won't be able to afford Audis, DJ, next story.
Oh no!
That's a
Okay,
fucked up joke.
that's dark.
I'm
That's
sorry.
dark. That's dark.
I'm
That's
sorry.
dark. That's
Aw,
dark. That's
hey,
dark.
they'll bounce back. Number 7, Bioware is laying off approximately 50 people. Comes from The Verge. Yeah, this is tragic.
And fuck
this
Bioware
comes
for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this comes from Ash Parish. Yes. So Bioware, the developer of Dragon Age and Mass Effect, announced that it will lay off approximately 50 employees. The layoff includes key members of the development team, such as a writer who has worked on every Dragon Age game. The layoff are part of a shift towards a more agile and more focused studio. Bioware says that the layoffs are necessary but unavoidable. They also say that the development of Dragon Age Dreadwolf and the next Mass Effect games are still on course.
Yeah, like the necessary but unavoidable thing just sounds like if it's necessary, it's already unavoidable. Like you didn't say
This is
Right.
rough. The last thing that came out was Mass Effect Andromeda, and then Anthem, poor Anthem.
Yeah.
And then Mass Effect re-release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, Bioware.
The last game that was considered good was Dragon Age Inquisition, and that was like 2014. 2014. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Bioware that we knew is dead.
Yes,
Dead
absolutely.
and gone.
Yeah. So the backstory behind this, in terms of why these layoffs are happening, is that EA changed their I guess their financial structure or revenue structure or whatever. It used to be one giant EA. That way, EA Sports, the money that's made off of those games would be able to cover the other side of EA that's doing the like Apex, that's doing the Bioware, like all those games. But now they kind of split it up. So you have EA Entertainment and you have EA Sports. So EA Entertainment now is looking at their budget and they're looking at the studios they have. And because none of their games are really doing it, and like apparently Apex, the last season, they didn't meet their expectations, but their expectations was kind of high. So it's not pulling in. Yeah. So it's not pulling in as much money as they wanted to. So now they're in a position where they have to make these cuts. And it's weird. I mean, it's not weird because, as we talked about, Bioware has just not had a good past couple of games, couple of years in terms of their games releasing and the public liking these games for whatever reason. So
AJ, I heard that Anthem was great from you.
yeah, the
Anthem was
parts,
good. It suffered from a lack of content. Things to do.
yeah, like Anthem, the game was a good game. It was fine. The story was not the best, but it wasn't the worst thing there. It's just that their expectations, they didn't meet their expectations, just like Square Enix and their games. So we're at a point now where they are targeting Bioware because Bioware just hasn't done great. But it's a weird thing because Bioware is working on Dragon Age Dreadwolf, which a lot of people are excited for because that's supposed to be the return to form for the Dragon Age games. And then you have Mass Effect, which is the staple game for EA, but Andromeda didn't do so great. So it's just like everyone was hoping that they would put all their eggs in the Mass Effect basket to make this game be the next game and the next like entry in that genre, or not genre, that franchise. So it's weird and it's troubling and it's kind of sad to see that like EA is making these decisions, is making these moves. It's 50 people, which I think they have like about 250 people in their studio. I could be wrong. It's a small percentage, but it's still a lot of people. And it's like, to say that those games are still on course, it's like you're probably saying that to protect your shareholders. Like, you can't lose that many people and everything just be cheeky. Because if that's the case, then you
especially if after all we've heard about how difficult games are to produce, it's like kind of throws it in the wind. Right? I mean, this is the wrong direction.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. Like yeah. But yeah, that is that. We'll see what happens when Dreadwolf comes out, or the next time we get to see stuff on Dreadwolf. And I think Dreadwolf was actually supposed to be shown this week, or not this week, this year, but it was delayed for reasons. The last thing we will do. Oh, actually, what should we do? So we have. There was Gamescom that happened. We didn't really get to talk about the opening night live impressions or the games from Gamescom. So we have that.
Not too much was really, not too many new things were announced.
So. Yeah. So let us do a quick run through that, and then I will end this by talking about Armored Core 6.
Nobody cares.
Excuse me.
I mean, I have a game too.
Oh, you have a game too? Okay. All right. This just be. Oh, you're right. I see. Okay. All right. So Gamescom, as I said, Gamescom 2023, it wrapped up. They showed a couple of games. Just a couple. This was a 5-day thing, and it was just insane. So a couple games that I wanted to point out that I thought was like interesting to say the least was 3. One is Black Myth Wukong. We all know that game. We've seen that game. It looks pretty cool. It's basically Dark Souls combat mixed with the Chinese mythology folklore of the Monkey King, right? Wukong, Sun Wukong. Yeah, I think that's right. That looks cool. The other thing was Project Mugen. Project Mugen is essentially
not my Mugen.
Huh?
I said hashtag not my Mugen.
Oh. Project Mugen is essentially what Genshin Impact was to Breath of the Wild. Project Mugen is the game to Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man, and I think it looks great. I'm playing the trailer right now. It is essentially this open world game where it's inspired by like some GTA stuff. Your character can quote unquote web sling. The characters are very anime. It's very like techie. Uh, it looks cool, like quote unquote cool. I don't know what's happening in this game. I don't know what the story is to this game. I like there was a lot of elements to this, so I was like, wait, is this Endless Zone Zero? But no, it's not because we've seen Endless Zone Zero. And it's just there's just a lot of craziness happening, but the combat itself feels very much so Marvel Spider-Man like inspired, like inspired. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, giant anime lady. You know, you can always never go wrong there. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Um,
as a rule of thumb, you don't vote against it.
exactly. So yeah, will we see more of this next year? We'll see, guys. We'll see. But yeah, that's that. Oh, this is the combat. So yeah, let me make sure. Yeah. So I'm starting to realize that there is a style with these games in terms of you got the world, they show the world, they show some kind of cool like poppy cinematic, and then you get the actual gameplay. And the gameplay is very like I don't know, it feels like Genshin to me in terms of like the attacks, and you get like a quick cutscene of the character and they do like their special attack, and it's just like, oh, more anime. It's cool. But I don't know,
Hey
man.
man,
Is
they
this
know it sells.
exactly? I think that's what it is. This looks cool to me, but it's one of those things where like I already know this is gonna be a free to play gotcha game. They haven't said it's going to be, but the way that they're building this,
I mean, if it is, I'm willing to play it.
yeah, it looks cool. And like I've spent hours in Genshin, so I'm definitely okay with spending hours in this. So yeah, we'll see. Project Mugen. That's that. The next game is I'll go through pretty quick on this one because we've seen it before. Crimson Desert. Jump ahead a little bit. This looks really good. When we first saw it, I was cautiously optimistic about this game because it was like, oh man, this looks like Dragon's Dogma meets Witcher meets Final Fantasy, uh,
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed. Yeah. And some may even say Devil May Cry, but you know, I will respect some. Um, and like they showed this trailer, and it's like it's even more amazing. And then at the end, because we're not going to get to it, it even alludes to some like Tears of the Kingdom stuff in terms of sky islands, and your guy is like dropping from the sky and like falling. And it's just like, how are they doing this? But of course, there's the whole thing of like, this all looks good. This all looks really pretty. Will the actual game
Be good.
have this kind of fidelity? Or is this just obviously running on a like super high end computer, you know? So we'll see. But there was no release date that was released for this, I don't believe. But yeah, overall, and like you can fish. You can do everything in this game.
And you can fish.
Right? In case you were wondering.
You just
So
sold
yeah,
something
it looks
right
really
there.
cool. I'm gonna jump to the end so we can see the some of the combat stuff. Yeah. So again, this looks super pretty. This looks like really, really action forward. That's the thing you can do.
I mean, if it's built on Unreal 5, it may look like this.
That's true. That's true. That is a possibility. Some QTEs. Even that kind of yeah. But yeah, this all looks really cool. I'm gonna jump to the end. So yeah, so that's the Tears of the Kingdom right there. That's literally Link falling. Like, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this game. But yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Oh, that's Tsushima right there.
Right? So after that, we have a live action trailer from Starfield. Right, Jordan? Live action.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. It's an ad. It's an ad they're gonna break up into a commercial, but it looks great though. I'm hyped.
Yes. So there was a thing that happened around this trailer.
What?
You
He
you,
said
you were
something.
talking
You
about it.
explain.
Yeah, we were talking about it off the
Oh no no
yeah.
no 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 no! Like it's some person. I mean, like there are Starfield physical copies at your nearest Walmart, Target, GameStop that are ready to go. You know, like
Mhm.
yeah, they're out there. They're in the wild. This is how supply chains are, and there's people that have access to them. I would make a buck on the side and sell a little bit early for some extra scratch on the side. And yeah, there's about 45 minutes of gameplay. I believe it's been taken down already. Of like the first 45 minutes, and it was
Mm-hmm.
fairly legit. And like it is bringing up some other questions about like how truly explorable are the worlds. Like unlike No Man's Sky, you're able to look at the whole world. Just like Baldur's barriers and stuff, and kind of goes into the procedural generation of the game. But yeah, the individual who produced it, he was like arrested, for other crimes associated with it. I'm not trying to say free the man, but
Yeah.
yeah, like he was arrested for some misdemeanors and something
Mm-hmm.
like
Okay.
that. But I think earlier last week, some like there are physical like I mean we knew 2 weeks ago that there were reviewers that already had their hands on it.
Right.
But now it's like they're in the stores, and some people
Okay.
are getting it installed to their console earlier by accident, shit like that. But if you do play it on your console early, or they find out you were unauthorized, you can get your whole console banned from Xbox
Which is
Live and Game Pass.
kind of shitty.
But I mean, it's
If
just.
a store broke street date and gave you a copy, I mean,
But they didn't break street date though. Like, I mean, well, in this instance, yeah, in terms of your situation, the situation you're explaining, yeah, the
mm-hmm.
store gave you it, yeah, but most likely it's illegal. If you like, if he was like, I'm giving you this for $70 when it's free on Game Pass and the
Yeah,
early access is 30,
Uh,
this is an outside purchase. Like
that's a
you
good
can.
point. Yeah.
I
But I mean,
suppose.
if you have a receipt from Target, then it's like at least you could fight that. You'd be
Yeah,
like, well,
no,
I
but
bought it at a Target.
in terms of this
So
situation, Homeboy was just getting some clicks, getting some traffic, trying to,
yeah. Yeah.
get his name out there. Just-
Mm.
so,
Okay.
but yeah, that was it.
Moving that weight.
All right.
Yeah, the
Well, the next
Starfield
game
wait.
is a big pop for Jordan. I almost said Starfield. Jesus. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty.
Yeah,
So Jordan, you're excited about this?
I
Yeah.
am. Yeah, I'm excited about the Aegis Alpha simulator. There actually was a big developer diary that dropped yesterday. That was like an hour long. I just watched a
Okay.
little bit of it, but I had more context of when Phantom Liberty, activates as a mission. But starting from the beginning, foundationally, this is like a big update to the game.
Okay.
They've continually made sure to refine the pursuit systems of like police officers and all of that. And remember, like if you watch the anime, about Max Tech, and even before the anime, like the cyber cycles and cyber cycles essentially. They are expanding the skill points, and they're doing away with the whole armor system. As we know,
Mm.
armor properties associated with certain clothing. They in a 2.0 update, or right before the 2.0 update, they had a transmog system to which you can have a clothing that will, you can like choose whatever clothing it'll look like, and not
Mm.
worry about like looking like a fucking janitor
Yeah,
because
my Lou
of your
Bangles
properties.
crazy.
But
Yeah.
now, based on what I'm hearing, is like they're going away with the whole armor system altogether and having armor properties associated with your level of cyber rise, your cyber level, right?
Okay.
Because there were some augmentations at Ripper Docks that did affect your armor, that did affect your health, and clearly they're leaning more so into that. And there are images going around about the new skills associated with your base talent points and stuff. They're expanding like block, like the ninja, like there was when the game came out, there was a mod that allowed you to block bullets your katana. Like now that's
Hmm.
officially in the game. Like stuff like that is being introduced, and
That's pretty
you can
cool.
now put your, like, remember Deus Ex, where you can
Mm-hmm.
put your certain attributes in Overdrive. Now you
Yeah.
can do that in Cyberpunk. Like you can like make your Mantis blades go fucking crazy and like juice an entire arena, which I'm
Yeah.
super excited about. But yeah, like in terms of when this game takes place, it's gonna take place after you meet the Doodoo boy. The Doodoo. Oh my goodness, the voodoo.
That sounds like a bootleg copy you got in there.
Let me slow it down.
Oh,
Doodoo boy.
I want to know what their territory is.
And they were in a shitty part of the city too. Pacifica was trash. Like literal dump. But sorry, the Voodoo Boys.
There you go.
And like after you meet up with them, like this other net runner who works for like the new United States contacts you to, you know, do something for the president. And then you go to Dogtown, which is the new area that's being released with this update. And Idris Elba's an agent of new stuff, and the net runner says, I know about your fucked up condition. Let me help you by helping us. I'm not gonna betray you at all.
Of course.
But yeah, it looks exciting. If on the PC side of things, was DSLL 3 or whatever, like they updated the graphics engine again. We know for it, which people, the tech weirdos, are looking out for it too. But as you know, playing this on Series X, and it costs $35. I'm sorry, 25 or the $30 the expansion, which is, you know, about half the base game. Yeah. So it's pretty sizable, but they are saying that this is the last big expansion outside of like the like more cosmetic mechanical updates they may have until Cyberpunk 2 comes out, which they already announced is called, I believe, Cyberpunk Orion is the next Cyberpunk game that they have in production. But it's like the last big thing, and they also stated that this will affect the ending in some way, because you know the ending was kind of like 3 shitty outcomes for V of, you know, spoiler, like terminal style outcomes for V. Maybe this netrunner does find a way to cure your the engram that Johnny is.
Yeah.
And you have like more. I would love to have like a more open-ended ending, right? Of just being like being the best solo in Night City, but you don't really get that in any situation.
Right.
So,
right.
but they're saying that this might, well, they're tight-lipped, but this might affect that.
Okay. Cool. All right. And the last game we're gonna talk about is
Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
Alan Wake 2 is coming out. There's a new trailer that came out, and actually a gameplay trailer too. Alan Wake released in like 2008, I believe, or like at least well over a decade ago.
Free on PlayStation Plus right now, so I may check it out.
Please, I implore everyone just to give it a shot, even if you are a scaredy cat like DJ is.
Sounds like I'll be playing vicariously through Sean.
But based on what I'm reading about, like, based on what I'm reading and seeing with Alan Wake 2, it does seem a little bit more, you know, darker than the first one. I don't know how much more dark you can get, but they're saying that they're reducing the enemy count to just like bigger, more tougher enemies you fight in an arena, which I think is kind of like a stalkerish type thing they have going there, which I'm like kind of like that. That's closer to that other Bethesda game, that Nightmare game. What was it called? They made 2 of them.
It was Shinji Kami, I think.
Yeah. He went on to do Hi-Fi Rush, but he was doing those other Nightmare games before that.
Yeah.
But whatever the game is, it sounds more keen to that. Like a
Yeah.
few enemies in an arena instead of like back in Alan Wake 1, there was many enemies. It was like kind of like a third-person shooter at the end of the day, Alan Wake 1. But this one feels more so like a horror game, to which you're going between 2 protagonists, Alan Wake, and I think her name was Saga Anderson. So yeah, it's, you know, it's coming out soon, and it had
The Evil Within.
Evil Within.
Yes. Yeah.
It feels I mean, it's gonna have the same mechanics of, you know, you using your light to destroy the darkness around enemies to dispatch them. This is what was made clear in the most recent trailer. But in terms of the volume of enemies, they plan on lowering it down, and also they want to implement some of like the level mechanics, not like completely, not totally like Control, but like some of the aspects of Control. They want to like implement in Alan Wake 2, which we know exists within the Control universe. Or Control exists within the Alan Wake universe.
Right.
And yeah, no, super excited. Remedy is like, I think they're truly having fun with what they're doing. I'm glad that Xbox released the license of Alan Wake and Quantum Break to Remedy, and yeah, Remedy's having a great time with it.
Okay. Yeah, the last trailer for Alan Wake looks really, really intriguing from
What?
a place of like knowing that that is not a game for me. It looks really cool. Like I would probably
Sucker.
when I watch a let's play, probably not a let's play. I'd probably watch some kind of like I guess it would be a let's play. I guess it'd be a let's play that I'd watch this scary game. Yeah, okay. Sure. Um we'll see. We'll see. Or Sean can play and I can just watch him
Quit
play.
being a punk ass, DJ.
But yeah, so that's really cool. And then also another thing just to note that the trailer looks like the game is going to have live action like segments in the game. So it's going to be a blend of like CG and live action. I think the game just looks really, really good. So that's awesome.
And
All right.
I think Alan Wake 1 had some live action moments
Okay.
in it, like random flashes of live action. But
Right.
this seems more so like, yeah, this is like kind of like Control. Control had live
Gotcha.
action segments in it too.
Oh, I had no idea. I didn't even get that far in Control. I like Control,
Oh.
but I just didn't.
It scared you?
Just didn't get that far.
Like,
It didn't
scared
scare
you?
me. I just.
It sounded like
I
it
think I
scared you.
jumped to a different game to like
I just-
do something, and I just never came back. Yeah, it just happens. Just happens. All right,
You're
so that's
afraid of
pretty much
bureaucracy?
that's pretty much it for Gamescom. I think to give us like just a minute review, I think opening night live was a good showing. It was 2 hours long, and it's just like, yeah, that's kind of what Keeley stuff is now. It's like you just kind of have to deal with it because he has to uh have sponsors and all that stuff. I
don't mind.
think, yeah, exactly. It was fine. I think the show, out of 10, I'd probably give it like a lowest 7.5. I think 8 is probably where I'm at. I think it was a good showing. There's a lot of games that I was interested in. So cool. That's that. Okay. So before we wrap this up, I'm gonna have a quick little review roundup of Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, because that is the latest game that dropped. And yes. All right, so it's now sitting at an 85 on OpenCritic and an 87 on Metacritic. I think that is pretty crazy to see because in my mind, I was being very, very cautiously optimistic in that this is probably going to get an 80 flat between both sites because just like it's Armor Core, it's a mech game, it's a very niche game. It's also not a friendly game because you have to learn the intricacies of the game in order to like be good at it. And when you're fighting some of the like boss mechs or whatever, it's not holding your hand. Like you have to do the thing or you die. So it is really cool to see that it is doing so well. I am. What is that? I just killed a bug. I am a warrior.
All right, Obama.
Yeah. So it is. Okay. So yes, let me just reset myself. That I've killed. I have all this adrenaline rushing through my veins, guys. I'm crazy. All right. So Armored Core 6. I am at the end of chapter 1, and there has been a lot of talk about the bosses filtering players because it's either, oh, this is a really easy game, or like, oh, this is like super, super hard. And up until this point, there has been some challenge for me, but like it's been pretty doable. And I finally hit the boss where it's just like, you have to do all the things you've learned in this entire chapter in order to beat this boss. And this is actually the boss that I'm showing right now. Yes, it's him, that motherfucker. Oh, I should do a tank build. Oh,
TJ,
oh,
stay on point.
oh my god. So this is the one thing that I absolutely love about the gameplay loop of this. Like you go into a mission. If you do bad on the mission, you have a checkpoint. You can go into your assembly and basically just customize your AC and just like try it again, like immediately. So it has that like roguelike feel where you can just jump in and jump out real quick. And that feels so good. It's so snappy. Like the load times on this game is just really, really great. They're really fast. And I think all of that contributes to this experience of like you're always building the better AC. And I think this game does a good job of progression in that you're progressing in terms of getting better equipment, you're progressing in terms of your skills, you're progressing in terms of understanding this complicated game. Like they they give you like a training mode, a tutorial mode, like they allow you to fight like trainer AC so you can get all the little things down you want and then you go in the actual game, you play the missions, you get that stuff done. But I think this is literally the best Armor Core game they have released. It's been a long time since they've released Armor Core games. I personally was scared that this was going to be a Armor Core game that was like not not like a Soulsy Armor Core game, but like an Armor Core game that wasn't true to like what I feel like Armor Core roots are. And like they completely blew that out the water. Like this game is amazing.
Are you waiting to finish the campaign before you jump on multiplayer? Or have you tried that yet?
You scared, son? Aren't you like the Gundam?
So here's the thing. I'm waiting, yes, because playing the campaign, you get access to other weapons.
Okay.
So right now I don't have access to like the full loadout, and I'm only in chapter 1. So like they unlock certain things as you progress through the story. So like I got access to the store probably in my 3rd mission or so. Like I got access to the arena mode, which is like fighting like VR simulations of other AC units. Oh my god, this game is so great. So yeah, so like I'm slowly getting access to that stuff, and like I cannot wait to go online and actually fight people to see like what they're really doing online. So
I can't wait for them to kill your confidence.
Like, are you aware of any type of cheat builds or like those like golden builds that just people win? Are there like cheat builds yet?
So not yet, and I think I didn't even that was completely new to me. I don't think that will happen because there is I'm starting to learn that there's kind of like a like rock paper scissors thing where you have explosive damage, kinetic damage, and plasma damage, and they all kind of react to your AC a little differently, kind of thing. So I don't think there is. I mean, of course, any online game there's going to be meta builds because that's just how the industry works nowadays. But like, it feels like there will probably be counters to like everything. And the last thing I want to say before I end this, right now the game is like a 9 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
I'm just not putting like an actual score because I just haven't beat the game. So it could get really, really bad. It could get really boring in chapter 2, 3, or however long this game is. The multiplayer could just not work at all. It could just be complete trash fire. I don't know yet. So right now, my experience, 9 out of 10. The last thing I will say is that there will be a very small percentage of people who know this. These people, the developers of Armored Core 6, played Gundam. They played Gundam because there is a lot of transferable skills from Gundam to Armored Core. And it wasn't a thing of like, oh, well, the Gundam developers played Armored Core, so they based their game off of that. No, there's a lot of things that are in Gundam that's not in the old Armored Core games, but it's in this new Armored Core game. And it's just like, that's cool. Like that appeals to me, like the PlayStation Portal appeals to Sean. There we go. Bam. Mic drop. That's it. All right. That is it for our jam-packed episode of Press X.
Did Jordan want to talk about his little baby?
Oh, I am so sorry. I completely forgot. Jordan,
yeah.
Rewind the tape. What is Jump Light Odyssey? Let us know.
It's a game. It's a little
excellent. And the episode now.
So like, yeah, I mean, if you play games like, I don't know, Evil Genius or something like that, you have your, I don't know, I don't want to talk, like it's basically like a spoof off of 1980s anime where you are the captain of the ship, you're like the final regent of this empire that's been attacked by another empire,
Oh,
and you have to rally shit together, gather resources to find a new home world for your people, because you are the last regent, or it's just very.
I'm
It's
pulling
I
up
mean
the
like
trailer right now.
it's a strategy game. You know, I mean, it is a straight up strategy game, ant farm style strategy game. You know, but your morale is like individual or morale came based on relationships. So you can have like conflicts between crew members and romantic, like triangles and stuff like that, which can affect how well they do their job. And it's actually a pretty fun game. I mean, I just want to give it a little bit of spotlight because I've been like waiting for this game for such a long time because of how much fun I had with Evil Genius.
Yeah. No, this is really cool. Like reading the title, I didn't expect this kind of art style for the game.
Oh, it's
Like,
fun. It's
yeah,
fun.
like looking at the character, the character art looks very almost like Gundam in a way. Well,
Yeah.
actually, no, that looks a little bit more modern than Gundam. But yeah,
Like it's like Sailor Moon type stuff going on.
Sailor
With
Moon.
his
Yeah,
art
yeah, yeah,
style.
yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
That's cool.
It's
And
the type
then
of game where I would start at 9 p.m. and it'd be 2 a.m. in the morning because it's just so much. Like
I see, I
it's just
see.
systems, and resource
Yeah.
management and collecting and chance. It's fun.
That reminds me of Ultron. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
I'm
an
here
early
for it.
access. I mean, like I paid for it, but it was like it's early
Yeah.
access. It's an early
Hey,
access
man.
game and not
Support
full
it.
release, but still fun.
Yeah.
Game. Still fun.
Okay. Cool. So did they give you how far into the game can you play?
I mean, like you can play the tutorial mode and have like you have to beat the tutorial mode to unlock this other mode, which allows you to customize your ship more so on the onset. Because
Mhm.
you had to start off with a generator and all this other stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, like I'm like a couple hours in, and I just finished up the main tutorial. But the mechanics of it is not that dissimilar from Evil
Okay.
Genius.
Cool. All right. Well, that has been our jam-packed episode of Press X Start Gamers Digest. We hope you enjoyed this jam-packed episode as much as we enjoyed jam-packing this episode into this jam-packed podcast. Don't forget, you can like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or podcast services you're currently tuned in on. We would greatly appreciate that. And you can do us another thing by joining our Discord. Let's go to pressx2start.com/discord. We have great conversations there. Our last conversation was about a music person. I don't remember the name, but yeah, it's cool. And we talked about Heroes. Yes, the old 2000 show Heroes. Yes, we have great conversations. Join our conversations. Join us. All right. Let's end this so we can get out of here and I can go back to dying in Armored Core 6 because God, I love that game. All right.
Yeah, some of us have One Piece to watch.
Yeah, some of us. All right. Bye.
Take care, y'all.